Have you ever waited 3 weeks just to see your doctor, only to spend 5 minutes in that room before being rushed out? Yeah, that used to be my life in Canada. But here in Vietnam, I can literally walk into a clinic, get blood work, an ultrasound, and prescription all in under 2 hours. And it costs less than what I used to pay for parking back home. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how healthcare in Vietnam compares to Canada and the US, and the cost and convenience to what actually happens when you walk into a hospital here. And stick around because I'll share two real stories about my daughter's emergency visit and one about the time I went to get a CT scan. That shows you just how fast and affordable healthcare really is here in Vietnam. Hello, friends. I'm Mai, a Canadian mom of two living here in Danang, Vietnam, with my husband. A few years ago, my husband and I sold everything in Canada to design a new kind of life, one where we could redefine home, create income, and educate beyond the system. And honestly, healthcare was one of the biggest fears before moving abroad. Because when you're a parent, nothing matters more than knowing your family will be okay if someone gets sick. In this video, we're breaking down doctors in Vietnam versus Canada and the US, what it's really like, how much it costs, and how to compare from an expat family's perspective. Number one, accessibility. You can just walk in. In Canada and the US, you're used to waiting. You book an appointment, wait a week or two just to see your family doctor. Then you wait another few weeks for a specialist. But here's where it gets personal for me. My dad back in Canada once waited 2 weeks for just a family doctor consultation, and my mom waited anywhere from 3 to 6 months for a specialist. I even seen cases where it stretches to 8 months, almost a year. By the time the appointment actually comes, the health issue has either gone away or worse. That's the kind of delay that creates stress. And knowing the stats in Canada, I think there are more people getting sick and passing away because they're waiting too long. However, here in Vietnam, you just walk in. No referrals, no wait lists, no we're booking into next month. You show up, sign your name, maybe show your passport within 10 to 15 minutes, and you're sitting in front of a doctor. And I know back in Canada, there are walk-in clinics. However, those wait times are at least minimum 2 hours. I've been to the family hospital in Vinmic here in Danang, and they both saw me the same day. Average wait time maybe was 15 to 30 minutes. Longest I ever stayed was about 2 hours, and that included blood work, ultrasound, consultation, and medication all in one visit. So in Canada, I remember sitting in the waiting room for hours, sick, tired, and stressed. You got to bring snacks, water, phone charger, because you know it's going to be like a full day event. I just remember always packing so many things, making sure like even socks and sweaters because it gets cold inside, and even sometimes my iPad so I can watch a movie. That stress alone makes being sick feel worse. And here, you just show up, get seen, go home. It's such a shift in how you experience care. You actually feel cared for, not managed. Number two, costs, affordable even without insurance. Here's the part that shocks most people. A full doctor visit here can cost anywhere from 250,000 to 1 million VND. That's around $10 to $40 USD. An ultrasound is around $25 USD, blood work maybe another $20 to $30 USD. A same-day checkup with results, meds, including usual runs between $60 and $100 USD in total. No hidden fees, no insurance chaos, no surprise bills months later. You pay on the spot, they print your results, and you walk out with your medication in a little paper bag. Meanwhile, back home in the US, urgent care can be about $300 plus if you're uninsured. I remember being in the US, I believe my daughter had strep throat, and to get a swab and consultation, I think the swab was $500. So like altogether, it was very expensive. In Canada, sure, it's free, but you pay in other ways through higher taxes, endless waiting lists, and long processing times. So while the system here is private, it's fast, transparent, and surprisingly affordable. So here's a quick example. Even dental care here is shockingly affordable. My cleaning and x-ray costs under $25 USD, and in Canada, I pay almost like $200 for the same thing. Number three, quality of care, modern, bilingual, and surprisingly personal. Let's talk about the quality, because yes, that's the question everyone asks. Is it safe? Are the doctors qualified? Honestly, the quality here has been excellent. Many doctors in Vietnam are trained abroad in Singapore, France, or the US, and most major clinics have English speaking staff. For example, I went to get my heart checked. He said he studied in France and he could have got a job in France, but he said he really loved the lifestyle in Danang and that's why he's here. Another time when I went to Vinmic, the doctor spoke perfect English, walked me through my results, and emailed me all the information. When does that ever happen back home? They don't rush you out the door. They actually feel like they care about helping you get better quickly. Number 4, prescriptions and medication. Everything in one place. In Canada or the US, you see a doctor, then drive somewhere else to fill your prescription or wait another 20 minutes, hope it's covered, and pay whatever your plan doesn't. Here in Vietnam, they hand it to you right there. Every clinic has an in-house pharmacy that pays for your visit, grab your medication, and you're done. I know there's some clinics like that in Canada and US, but I'm just saying they have that mostly here. Even common antibiotics or vitamins are available without long waits. You just have to be mindful and consult the doctor, but it's fast, convenient, and human-centered. Number 5, insurance options and emergency care. If you go to a private international hospital here, you'll get seen right away. If you live here long-term, you can get international insurance for roughly about $500 to $1,000 per year, depending on your age and coverage. We personally don't get insurance. We believe that we'll just pay out of pocket and have an emergency fund that we put away monthly. But for peace of mind, I always tell new expats to at least have $1,000 to $2,000 as a medical buffer when you move abroad. Now, we still need to cover what it's really like walking into a Vietnamese hospital. And I got 2 personal stories that'll make you rethink everything you know about healthcare. But before we dive into that, hit that subscribe button if you're thinking of moving abroad, building a freedom-based lifestyle, or just raising your kids differently. All right, let's talk about the real experience. Here's what actually happens when you go to a Vietnamese hospital or a clinic. So you walk in and then a receptionist greets you and hands you a small registration slip. You fill out your name, date of birth, and show your passport if it's your first time. Then you pay a small registration fee around 100,000 VND, and that's about $4 USD. You sit down, wait a few minutes, and your number pops up on the screen. They call you into the consultation room. You see the doctor. They might send you for ultrasound or a blood test right away. No waiting for another day, no separate appointment. So you go to another area, do your test, then you come back to where you started, where you did the consultation, and then minutes later, the doctor will review everything and then prescribe you your medication, and then you pay at the counter before you leave. The entire thing runs smoother than most grocery store visits back home. Number 6, family and pediatric care. Zero stress for parents. If you're a parent, you know doctor visits can be chaos. In Vietnam, it's calm, fast, and efficient. You can walk in, be seen within minutes, and everything's done in one place. Our girls have gone for checkups and even emergency visits, and it's always been quick, kind, and professional. The clinics are clean, organized, and the staff are gentle with kids. And another option, there's also a service that there's a doctor that can come to your home, which we have done that before, and that was pretty affordable. I believe that was like 200,000 VND. All right, so one time my daughter was sick. She was in and out of the hospital within an hour. She got her ultrasound, consultation, blood work, and prescription all done within that same hour. I honestly thought it was going to be long that night, because I actually packed the iPad, the chargers, her sweater, so she can just feel cozy. But once we got in, we got out right away, which was really nice because she wasn't feeling the best. And that visit cost about 1.5 million dong. That's about $60 USD. And that was emergency pricing because you're paying hourly for the bed when it's an emergency visit. And the reason why it was an emergency visit, because the weekends, the doctors are not open and we went later in the night, we actually had to go to the emergency side. However, if you booked an appointment, it would be a lot cheaper. Then there was a time I went myself. I wanted to get my head checked. So they checked my eyes, ran a CT scan, and I had a full consultation. That cost around 2 million dong, roughly $80 USD. And that was an appointment, not an emergency. So it was still super fast. And when my oldest went for her checkup, we booked that appointment in advance, and that was under 1 million dong, which is less than $40 USD. All of that done same day, no waiting, weeks for a specialist, no phone tag, no follow-up chaos, just fast, clear, and professional care. And that's what I mean when I say living abroad gave us peace of mind, because health isn't just about doctors or hospitals. It's about knowing your family's care without all that barrier, bills, and waiting lists. That kind of freedom, being able to care that moment you need it. It's worth more than anything. If you're watching this and thinking, wow, maybe it's actually possible to have great healthcare and a slower lifestyle, you're right. That's one of the biggest reasons we chose to stay here. If you're on a similar journey, wanting to live abroad, raise your kids differently, or find a simpler rhythm, join my free community, Abundant Living Collective. It's where I share expat living, travel tips, real conversation about creating abundant life abroad. You can also join my newsletter, my notes for personal updates, or support this channel directly through YouTube membership. I just want to thank you for supporting me here. I really appreciate it. It truly means the world to me. And that's all for today's video. If you found this helpful, check out this one right here where I break down the real cost of living in Vietnam for family. You'll be shocked how far your money actually goes. Let's grow, glow, and flourish together.